Hey y'all, we're still around the fire. Tonight's story is about a man who never seemed to leave. The man who never moved out.
Everyone remembers him a little differently. Some say he moved into the building in the early 90s. Others swear he'd already been there when they arrived. What everyone agrees on is that he lived in the same apartment the entire time. Third floor. End of the hall, door always closed. He was polite in the way people used to be polite, held doors, nodded hello, never asked questions, never answered many either. If you passed him on the stairs, you'd smell soap and something faintly medicinal, like a hospital hallway that had learned to mind its manners. No one ever saw him with anyone else. That wasn't unusual on its own. What was unusual was how long it stayed that way. Tenants came and went. Couples moved in, broke up, moved out. Furniture rotated. Management changed hands. The carpet was replaced twice. Through all of it, his name stayed on the mailbox. People noticed eventually. Someone joked that he was rent-controlled. Someone else said he must be related to the owner. A newer tenant asked how old he was, and no one had a good answer. He didn't look elderly. He didn't look young. He looked consistent. Years passed, then more. A woman who'd lived there since the beginning realized one day that she'd never seen him carry groceries. Another neighbor mentioned he never seemed to throw anything away. No trash bags, no boxes, no clutter moving in or out. The building super tried to check on him once after a leak was reported in the unit below. No answer. They waited. They knocked again. Eventually, the leak stopped on its own. The super shrugged and never followed up. That's how things were handled back then. The first time someone mentioned that they hadn't seen him in a while, no one panicked. People disappear for normal reasons: travel, illness, privacy. Weeks passed, then months. His name stayed on the mailbox. The door stayed closed. One night, someone noticed the light under his door was on. It hadn't been on in years. A low, steady glow. Unmoving. By morning, it was gone. Not long after, the building was sold. Renovations followed. Units were gutted. Walls came down. Old things were hauled away without much thought. When they opened his apartment, they found it empty. Not abandoned. Not decayed. Empty. No furniture, no clothes, no dishes, no personal effects of any kind. The walls were clean, the floor bare, the bathroom unused. The windows sealed shut. It looked like no one had ever lived there. The workers stood around longer than they needed to. Someone joked it was a model unit. Someone else didn't laugh. The mailbox was removed that afternoon. People say the hallway feels different now. Quieter. Longer. Every so often, a new tenant asks about the third-floor unit at the end of the hall. Says they thought they saw someone standing there, just for a second, like he was waiting for the elevator. Waiting for something. No one ever corrects them.
That's our story for tonight. Perhaps it's a bit beyond belief, but you never know. These stories could be true.